And I had a great conversation with a past client who moved here during COVID from San Francisco, which was a really common occurrence. They were first-time home buyers. We did all the things that we've outlined in these other videos. Had a great experience, super cool people. You know, they've started a family. The family's grown to 2 now, and they're thinking like, you know, maybe they want to be a little bit closer to their friends, you know, because time is really important when you're a parent. And we had an initial conversation about what it's like to sell a home. And that was a really great question that they asked is, you know, what's the process of selling and what's the cost of selling? On the financial side of selling, you know, I guess on a consultation as a professional, I would start with, this is the estimated value of your home. And for me, in my approach, I tend to be a little bit conservative. So I like to be slightly, you know, sort of at market, maybe slightly below market, because there's a lot of planning going on. And the last thing I think you want to do as a professional consulting a client is have your client think they have a lot more money than they really might as they make these big life decisions. So I tend to err a little bit on the low side and have that conversation. But ultimately you have a sales price, and then you have, if there's a loan still and for many people there is a loan on the home. And so then you subtract. So you have, first you start with your sales price, right? And then you have the cost of selling the home. And, you know, to be frank, the vast majority of the cost of selling a home is broker commissions. And so you'll negotiate a listing agent compensation fee that can range a little bit. And then, at least in today's market, you would negotiate a buyer's broker commission compensation amount. And the reason I say it that way is that part of selling is actually changing pretty quickly right now. And that'll probably be for another day, another video. But at least today, most people are considering listing agent commission compensation. Same thing for the buyer's agent. And then you do have some other, I would sort of call them ancillary fees, because in comparison, they're much less, but they still add up. You have an escrow fee, you have a title fee, you have some transfer taxes with the city and or the county, depending on where exactly you live. And taxes like capital gains or sort of personal income taxes, they don't come into play for everybody, only those who are making more than $250,000 as a single person and $500,000 as a married couple. As a basis of understanding, I'm not a tax professional, but that's basically how it is. So if your gain is in those categories, then you definitely want to talk to a tax professional to understand what that means for your individual situation. But again, to recap, broker commissions, title and escrow fees, and some transfer taxes, a couple other ancillary things, but you're talking $100 here, $100 there. Yeah, some other costs to consider when it comes to selling your home is preparing the home. And this is a sort of a trap some clients I see can fall into, where they're like, wow, you know, I have these expenses when it comes to selling the home. I don't want to spend any more money. I'm not going to spend any money to prepare the property. And it can be a real problem depending on your property, because homes often, or actually really anything you sell, can be sold better if you spend a little time, energy, and maybe money shining it up, right? At just the basic level, cleaning it, making sure that it presents really well, maybe repairing something if that makes sense. And those things I would look at as investments for return, and not so much as an expense, although they are clearly expenses. But you just think that by doing these things, you're going to enhance your sales price, and that's where we come up with the return on investment on those expenses. When it comes to going as far as home inspections on a property, it's really property specific. And just for the sake of the video, I would say the older your property is, the more of those inspections you want to get out of the way. Mostly because older homes have a tendency for surprises in those inspections. And so it's best to understand those so that you don't have to sell the property twice. So from one buyer and then they cancel, and then to another buyer. And also maybe have an opportunity to position the property where you're going to pre-negotiate those condition items, or at least identify that like, yeah, there's a couple things going on, but they're not that big of a deal, or yeah, they are a big deal and I'm glad I know about it now. I can take care of it and put the property on the market and know that I'm not gonna have that specific pitfall as you're making your journey from starting to sell to finalizing the sale. I'm Justin Vierra. I think, when you look at any of my 200 plus 5-star reviews and you sort them by, listed or sold their home, you will find that they say I am honest. Actually, a lot of people say I'm no bullshit. I just help people in the best way that I know how, and I treat your home like it's mine and how I would sell it. And I am trying to stay on the cutting edge of all of the latest marketing and the market itself and what buyers want. And that's really important to thinking about how to position your home when you sell it, because you really want to know who's going to buy it the best you can. And so I really do all of that professionally and as elegantly as possible. And so if that is something that you're up for, reach out to me and we'll just start with a phone call and take it from there.